MES Marampally e-learning.
Hello. Have you engaged these days in any kind of behavior with the goal of benefiting others? Yes? Did you expect anything in return for that? No. That's great. Engage in behavior like caring, sharing, helping, comforting, cooperating is not that simple. You put in lot of time and energy in order to engage in an act of behavior which is called prosocial behavior. Before we get into the details of prosocial behavior, myself, I'm Dr. Susan Verghese, Assistant Professor, Department of Psychology, MES Marampally. What is prosocial behavior? In simple terms, it is helping others. Prosocial behavior is the voluntary action that are intended to help or benefit another individual or group of individuals. It is any helpful action that benefit other people without necessarily providing any direct benefit to the helper, and it may even involve risk for the helper. Now you may think, then what could be altruism and how it differs from prosocial behavior? Prosocial behavior is often confused with altruism. They are in fact two different concepts. Altruism means an unselfish concern for the benefit and welfare of others. In other terms, altruism means performing an act voluntarily to help someone else when there is no expectation of reward in any form. Whereas prosocial behavior is any helpful action regardless to the helper's motive. Well, let me introduce Ms. Luciana to explain and clear the two concepts. Luciana volunteers to work in an organization without salary for 6 months, just like that. That is altruistic behavior. But if Luciana volunteers to work in an organization without salary for 6 months with an intention of a job promotion or to build her resume for future job opportunity, that is prosocial behavior. I will give you another example. Luciana makes an anonymous donation for an institution without any economic, religious or political gain, that is altruistic behavior. But if Luciana donates for economic, religious or political gain, that is prosocial behavior. Therefore, engaging in a behavior to help others with no immediate benefit but with a motivation behind that, that is prosocial behavior. Have you ever thought why people help others? Now, there are several situations and personal factors which contribute to prosocial behavior. One explanation involves empathy, which is the capacity to be able to experience others' emotional state, feeling sympathetic towards them and take their perspective. We help others because we experience any unpleasant feeling they are experiencing and want to help bring their negative feelings to an end. Reflecting these basic observations, Batson and his colleagues offered this empathy altruistic hypothesis, which suggests that at least some prosocial acts are motivated solely by the desire to help someone in need. Now, such motivation can be sufficiently strong that the helper is willing to engage in unpleasant, dangerous, and even life-threatening activities. This is unselfish because it leads us to offer help for no extrinsic reason. But at the same time, it is also selfish in one sense, since the behavior of assisting others help us too. When? By giving us a positive emotional reward as it makes us feel better. In fact, research findings indicate that empathy consists of three distinct components: an emotional aspect, that is the emotional empathy, which involves sharing the feelings and emotion of others; a cognitive component, which involves perceiving others' thoughts and feelings accurately, that is empathy accuracy; and the third aspect known as the empathic concern, which involves feeling of concern for others' well-being. This distinction is important because it appears that the three components are related to different aspects of prosocial behavior and have different long-term effects too. Now, for instance, consider the effect of empathic accuracy. This appears to play a key role in social adjustment, that is, the extent to which we get along well with others. Now, being here in MES College for 3 years, but remaining friendly and the same with others throughout the 3 years shows your empathic accuracy. Now, another important question which comes along is whether empathy is declining, and if so, why? Increasing exposure to violence in the media may tend to reduce important aspects of empathy. At the same time, increased emphasis in schools and other settings on building individual self-esteem is important. Definitely, that is very important, but it may reduce the tendency to focus on others and their needs. Facebook, Twitter, and other social media reduces face-to-face contacts between people who form friends and relationships online rather in person. Now, this in turn also can reduce empathic feelings towards others. Even so, empathy still plays a great role in helping others. Another possible motive for helping others is, in a sense, the mirror image of empathy. Instead of helping as we learnt before, because we care about the welfare of another person, understand their feelings and share them, we help because such actions allow us to reduce our own negative emotions. We do a good thing in order to stop feeling bad. The knowledge that others are suffering, or more generally, witnessing those in need, can be distressing to us, right? So, to reduce this distress in ourselves, we help others. This explanation of prosocial behavior is known as negative state relief model. No matter what your situation is, you engage in prosocial act primarily as a way to improve your own negative mood. In this kind of situation, unhappiness leads to prosocial behavior, and empathy is not a necessary component. So, that's why it is called as negative state relief model. Yes? Okay. Moving on to the third factor, why we help. It is generally true that it feels good to have a positive effect on other people. This fact is reflected in the empathic joy hypothesis, which suggests that helpers enjoy the positive reactions shown by others whom they help. For instance, Do you recall how good it felt seeing someone you care about smile and show pleasure when you gave them a gift? Well, this is an example for empathic joy. Helping as an accomplishment makes us help others. The three theoretical models described so far suggest that the affective state, that is the feelings of a person engaging in prosocial act, is a crucial element. All three formulations rest on the assumption that people engage in helpful behavior either because they want to reduce others' negative feelings or because doing so helps them feel better. Hope I made this clear to you. On to the fourth reason why people help. This general idea is carried one step further by another perspective on prosocial behavior, that is, the competitive altruism approach. This view suggests that one important reason why people help others is that doing so boosts their own status and reputation, and in a way ultimately brings them a large benefits, especially ones that bring public recognition. So overall, this appears to be an important motive for helping others. You must have seen people do such kind of helping behavior so much around you, right? Well, looking to the other factors. A very different approach to understanding prosocial behavior is offered by the King's selection theory. For an evolutionary perspective, a key goal for all organisms, including us, is getting our genes into the next generation. Support for this general prediction has been obtained in many studies. In general, we are more likely to help others to whom we are closely related than people to whom we are not related. That's true, but going a step ahead, it is found that we may be willing to help people unrelated to us because helping is usually reciprocated. If we help them, they will help us. So we do ultimately benefit, and our chances of survival could be indirectly increased. So we help others, those who are closely related as well as those who are not. 2018 flood here in Kerala is the best example for this. Now moving on to the sixth explanation on why people help. People often divide the social world into two categories, their own in-group and out-groups. Furthermore, they often perceive their own group as distinctive from other groups and as superiors in several ways. Sometimes, however, out-groups may achieve successes that threaten the superiority of one's own group. Now, can that provide a motive for helping? Let's see. Recent research suggests that it can, because one way of removing the threat which is posed by outgroups is by helping them, especially in ways that make them dependent and make them feel incompetent or inadequate. Such actions are known as defensive helping because they are performed not primarily to help the recipient, but rather to put them down in a subtle ways so as to reduce their threat to their in-group status. In such cases, helping does not stem from empathy, positive reactions to the joy or happiness it induces among recipients, but rather for a more selfish motive, protecting the distinctiveness and status of one's own group. So looking to all our main points of why people help, one engages in prosocial behavior because they experience empathy towards others. Seeing others need it induces negative feelings in us. a need to create a positive impact on others, to help boost one's own status and reputation, help others to whom we are closely related, and to overcome threats from outgroup. Prosocial actions are complex not only in the form they take and the factors that affect them, but with respect to the underlying motives from which they spring. Whatever the precise causes of such behavior, though it is clear that helping is an important and fairly common part of the social side of life, one with many beneficial effects both from helpers and those who receive assistance. Research reveals that those who act prosocially tend to be happier, healthier, and they live longer. Those who don't act prosocially may suffer psychological cost that comes with guilt at some point of life. Prosocial behavior is a cornerstone of a just and decent society. Very true, right? I understand we all are prosocial by nature, but let us try to engage more in altruistic behavior, especially during this pandemic situation. Hope you had a good understanding on prosocial behavior. Appreciating your patient listening. Thank you.